Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from RKG990 from the Off My Chest subreddit and says, my mum neglected me and ditched me for her new family, so I decided to ditch her as well. Little background of myself. I'm 19, was born when my mum was 17 and my dad was 19. My dad has been in prison the majority of my life for non-violent drug charges. My mum got married when I was 10 to my stepdad. Just to clarify, my mum and dad were never married. They dated each other and eventually hooked up and had me. My problems with my mum started when she got pregnant with my sister. And then after she had my sister, she got pregnant again and had my brother. And I became like a ghost. She hardly paid attention to me. She neglected me emotionally, and I felt like I was unwanted in her life. I didn't matter anymore. As I grew up, I continued to try and get her to talk to me, but she was always busy with my brother and sister. Every family activity they did together, she always excluded me. It was always my stepdad and my mum and my siblings except for me, like I wasn't part of the family. This is how I came to my conclusion that my mum hates me or she dislikes me. As I mentioned before, I have two younger siblings aged 4 and 9. One day, my mum comes into my room. She's all dressed up and racing around, and I ask if she's going somewhere. She tells me no, and I go back to playing on my computer. No later than 15 minutes, I hear the garage door go up, and so I race downstairs thinking, what the heck? And sure enough, my mum, stepdad, and my sister and brother are all dressed up and in the truck, and I'm standing outside, feeling really uncomfortable. The look she gave me as she jumped into the truck made me feel like I was interrupting her. There wasn't any, oh yeah, sorry. It was just a look of absolute disgust. I don't cry very easily, but something about the whole thing really got to me, and I went back inside and cried a bit, but then got over it. Wasn't the first time. She texts me 10 minutes later telling me that they're just going to the park. I didn't respond because I would have just woke myself up again. Fast forward, they get home, I was eating dinner, and my 9-year-old sister rushes in after my mum, super excited to tell me about everything they had done. They hadn't gone to the park. My mum had lied to me, saying they went to the park when they'd actually gone to Dave & Buster's. They also went to get milkshakes and went shopping. I was visibly crushed by it, and my little sister noticed I had gotten upset. I could tell my mum was about to start making excuses and making the circumstances my fault, so to keep my little sister and brother from seeing that, I excused myself to my room quietly. It super sucks. I've been trying so hard to be a good son despite the selfishness of my mother and her chaotically selfish ways have on me. But once I realized that shit isn't normal, I started questioning our relationship. I didn't see any safe way out without ending up on the streets broke. 19 years old, unemployed by the way, so I joined the army. It was a spur of the moment and she still doesn't know. I can handle it and it's the first decision I've actually made on my own. I cannot tell you how excited I am for BCT soon. Sorry everyone, I just wanted to get this off my chest and share my story. Edit. I would like people to know that I don't hate my brother and sister. I like my brother and sister, they also like me, and I have good memories of spending time with them. At this point, they're the only thing that I consider family, and I hope they understand why I moved away. I hope that when I come back from the army, they will still see me as their big brother. I would also like people to know that my grandparents from my mum's side of the family passed away already, and my grandparents from my bio-dad's side of the family also passed away. My grandmother passed away 2 years after I was born, and my grandfather passed away when my dad was 15 years old. My bio-dad is the only child they had. My mum only has one sister and she's married with 3 kids. Her kids are around the same age as me, and she and her husband live paycheck to paycheck, and I don't want to be a burden to them. That's why I never went to live with them. I'll keep you guys updated for now, and that's all. I've seen some of the comments below. Thank you everyone for the love and support. Again, thank you all. And my heart absolutely breaks for you, OP. Picturing you in that moment when you went outside and saw your family pulling out of the drive, that just broke my heart for you. It did have me thinking about what's the stepfather doing in this. He obviously sees this as okay behavior as well. And I can't, I'm really trying to think, what the fuck are they thinking about? Obviously not much. And these people must see the hurt they're causing to OP in this situation. They must see it on their face daily, but continue to do so. Fucked up people. Snoo Kiwi says, you know what, OP, you're going to be okay. Maybe things are not supposed to be like this, I know, but you sound like a good person. Don't let your mother's stupidity turn you bitter or angry at the world or at her. Be better than her. We always have this attachment to our parents, even when they don't deserve us. You're going to be okay. Make a good life for yourself, and if you ever become a parent, pour all your love on them. Sending you a big hug. You're going to be okay. OP says, thank you. Yes, despite everything, I don't hate my mum. I still love her, and that's what hurts a lot. Becoming a parent is one of my dreams as well. I hope I'll be a good dad one day. Standard comment says, as a mother myself, I am so disgusted with that woman's behavior towards you. She has no right to call herself a mother if she treats one of her kids in such an appalling way. It sounds like she resents you for who your father is, not something you can control and shouldn't be put on your shoulders. I really wish you all the best, and I hope you accept an internet hug from a stranger. Good luck to you. You deserve so much happiness. So this one time says, I'm glad you got out. The only advice I want to give is when you're in and get a chance to take leave, use it to explore and experience everything you can. I've been in the army for 17 years. Best thing I have ever done. I've met many people who used it to get away from bad homes. The people you will meet while in will become your new family. Hopefully, you'll have great leaders like I have that will open their homes to you on holidays like Thanksgiving. You won't be the only one avoiding going home. Find people like you and make a new family. Some Coyote says, I fucking hate your mother. If she didn't want you, she should have sought help in the early stage of pregnancy to terminate the pregnancy, or she could have put you to adoption. Honestly, I hate your mum, but also your stepdad. I know you aren't his biological son, but what the hell is he doing? How can he let his wife act like crap in front of him, in front of your siblings? This is infuriating. I hope you'll feel better. I wish you a good life, and I hope you'll experience and learn tons of useful stuff there. Just pack and leave. Say your goodbyes to your siblings, but there's no need to waste your time with your mum and stepdad. Opie responds and says, I asked her once why she didn't abort me. She said because her parents would have disowned her because they're conservative Christians. And then I asked why she didn't give me up for adoption. She said because her parents would have disowned her as well if she did that too. Both my grandparents from my mum's side passed away already. From my bio-dad's side of the family, my grandfather passed away when my dad was 15 and my grandma passed away 2 years after I was born. My dad is the only child my grandparents had. From my mum's side of the family, she only has one sister, but she and her husband live paycheck to paycheck and they have 3 kids, and they're all around the same age as me. So they already have a lot on their hands, and I don't want to be a burden to them. OP gives several updates. Their first one said, hello everyone, a quick update. Not much has happened and I've been busy moving my stuff out. You guys told me not to say anything to her about me leaving, but I find that really hard to do because my sister is outspoken. Everything she hears and sees, she tells. So I decided to tell my sister I'll be leaving for a job that I was offered, and I'm going to tell my mum the same thing if she asks. If you guys have any better suggestions or ideas on how to deal with this situation, I'm all ears. My mum didn't see me moving my stuff out, but she did notice some of my things missing and asked about them. I told her I sold some of my things to make some quick cash. I just got a little bit left to move out and I'll be done moving my things. Just in case you all were wondering where I left my stuff, I asked a friend if I can leave my stuff at her house and she said yes. Some of you are probably wondering when I am leaving for the army. It's on the 23rd, this Friday. Some of you guys also ask why the army and not the Navy or Marines or Air Force. My friend who let me leave my things at her house has a grandpa who was in the army and he convinced me to join the army. But if things don't work out for myself in the army, I'm going to join the Navy or Air Force or Marines. Thanks everyone, and I'll keep you guys updated if anything comes up. A couple of days after that one, OP posted, today my bio-dad called me and said that he got out of prison 2 weeks ago. He's living in his parents' house. My grandparents, when they passed away, they left their house to my dad. So I went to see him. We had a good conversation and he apologized for not being there for me. I told him if he's truly sorry for not being there for me, he should make it up for being there for me now. He told me he was going to try his best and be there for me, and then he got a job in construction. I told him I was going to the army, and he broke down in tears and told me he was proud of me. I couldn't help it and cry as well. It was a very emotional moment. I told him because he hasn't been there all my life, I'm not going to call him dad just because he's my bio dad. I'm going to call him by his name. If he wants me to call him by dad, he has to earn it. And he told me that is fine. I plan on going back tomorrow and be there for a while with him. And of course, it's going to be after he gets out of work. Hope he has one more which said, hello everyone. This is going to be my last post for a while. I'm already ready to go. I'm here in my biological father's house. My mum doesn't know I'm leaving for the army. The only thing she knows is that I moved out of her house and I'm staying with my biological father. I left a note telling her everything about how she has treated me, except for the fact that I'm going to the army. I'm going to call an Uber to take me to the station where I'm going to get picked up by a bus and then take me to the army. My bio dad is paying for the Uber in case you all are wondering. Also, I would like people to know that I forgave my bio dad for not being there for me. But I also told him that just because I forgave him, it doesn't mean I'm going to call him dad. He has to earn it. So I started calling him by his first name, Matthew. Yes, that's his real name. I could see it in his eyes when I called him by his first name that he was hurt by it. But he accepted the fact that he wasn't there for me growing up, and these are the consequences. But I also told him I'd give him the opportunity to redeem himself. Let's see if he is really sorry and regrets not being there for me. I don't know if my mum has read the letter because I'm not there to see her reaction. I did talk to my sister who's 10 years old about me moving out because I got a job. She was sad, but she said, "You're going to come visit us." I told her yes, when I have the time. She was 9 before, but she's 10 now. This past weekend it was her birthday. My little brother is too young to understand things, so I didn't tell him anything. He's only 4 after all. That's all for now. Thank you guys for everything. Thanks for listening to my pathetic life. I'll make sure to keep you guys updated if I have time to post. And that final post was a couple of months back, so I can only assume that he did go into the army. And I have absolutely zero experience with that kind of thing, so I don't know if you can get access to that sort of, like the Reddit and that sort of stuff. And I'm not going to pretend to know about it because, there's far more knowledgeable people down below in the comments, I guarantee it. And all I can say, OP, is I really do wish you the best for your future because you deserve so much better than what you've received. I hope your bio father does step up and give you the support that you need. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? What would be your advice to OP? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, I do want to give you a warning before we do get into the next story that it does contain talk of cancer. So if you do want to skip the story, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. And it's from Am I the Arsehole Bear, who says, "Am I the arsehole for refusing to let my wife wake our daughter up to see a bear? My wife, kids, 12 female, 10 female, 8 male, 6 male, and 4 male, and I just spent 3 weeks at our cabin while we got some repairs done on our house. Our 10-year-old, Rose, has leukemia. A lot of the activities around the cabin are outdoors, and Rose doesn't usually have the energy for that. So one of her favorite activities has been watching the wildlife from this big window seat in the master bedroom and taking pictures of what she sees. Her goal since she started doing this was to see a bear. There are some in the area, but it's not too common to see one. She has me take her up to the window seat after dinner and usually falls asleep watching for bears. Towards the end of the 3 weeks, I had to take her to the hospital for chemo, 3.5 hours each way. That night she fell asleep in the window seat again, and when I got up to carry her to bed, there were 2 bears close to our cabin. I called my wife over to see, and I took pictures on Rose's iPad, but my wife wanted to wake Rose up so she could see. She hadn't gone to see a bear this trip. I told my wife she needs to rest and that showing her the picture would be enough, but my wife still tried to wake her up. I stopped her again and got Rose in bed. The next morning I told Rose that there were bears last night and I showed her the picture. She asked if I woke her up. I said yes because I didn't want her to get upset, but my wife told Rose that I wouldn't let anybody wake her up. We did not see any more bears for the rest of the trip, and Rose has been devastated. She refuses to speak to me and deleted the pictures I took for her because apparently it doesn't count. She's even refusing to sleep next to me. She's been sleeping between me and my wife since she got sick, so my wife has had to sleep in Rose's room since the trip. My wife is even talking about taking Rose back to the cabin for a week to try and see a bear. I don't think it's a big deal, but my wife and Rose are still upset with me, so I wanted to know if I was the arsehole. And we're starting the comments with Practical Primrose, and it does come in an update as well, who says, "You're the arsehole. You decided for her. Even though your wife was clearly telling you that you were wrong, then you disregarded your wife's opinion as well. And guess what? You were wrong. So from this outsider's perspective, it looks like my female child does not really know what she wants. My female spouse does not know either. They don't really know their own minds. I know better. I really hope I'm wrong, but you might need to sit with this and ask why you chose this. Also, why lie about it? It either mattered, so wake her, or it didn't, so be honest." Old Clam says, "You're the arsehole. The 20 or 30 minutes she would be awake to see the bears would not have impacted her health. That would have been an amazing memory for her. You know it was wrong because you lied about it. Apologize and do better next time." Intelligent B says, "You're the arsehole. You knew your daughter has been trying to see a bear from that window for weeks. Your wife told you that you should wake her up to see it. You invalidated both of them and deprived your daughter of an experience she's been actively seeking. To top it off, you lied to your daughter that you did try to wake her up to see the bear when you did no such thing. The fact that you lied to her shows you already know what you did was wrong. Learn from this and do better going forward." Cloud Watcher says, "You're the arsehole. First of all, straight from the title. Your wife has her own mind and doesn't need you to let her do something. Second, from not knowing that your daughter has seen 1,000 pictures of bears, so a picture of a bear is meaningless and more so almost cruel. Look, a bear was right there and you missed it. And third, it would have been terrible if it had been any kid, but doubly because she didn't have any other fun things to do on this trip. Your wife is right about taking her for another week. I'd do that and apologize a lot. One more comment which says, I've been scrolling through comments desperate to find someone show the tiniest bit of sympathy. Not to the specific situation, but to the fact that this man has a daughter going through chemo. People saying he doesn't give a shit about her and all he cares about is his ego, dragging her to the cabin for his own enjoyment and being selfish. Man is driving 7 hours a day to take her to chemo and watch that horrible process happen to his child. He was wrong and overprotective and misguided in the bear thing. He watched her go through chemotherapy and didn't want to wake her during the rest between that and her next dose. He should have done because it would have made her so happy, but I for one will not judge a man for that when I don't have to go through what he does. People talking about sexism and ego-driven mania and making humongous leaps or projecting their own issues with their fathers so hard it's unreal. OP, you were in the wrong. You know it because you lied to your daughter. You aren't an asshole for it. You're an overprotective father going through hell who probably has his family up at a cabin for the enjoyment of his other kids and wife as well, not just his own, considering at least 7 hours of the recent days has been taking his daughter to chemo. So, OP did come back and update the post very briefly and said, my wife, my father-in-law, and Rosie have been at the cabin for 4 days now. I ordered stuffed animals, window decals, art sets, a kiddie telescope and binoculars, a camera, and a couple of chairs for her to sit outside. My wife, father-in-law, and Rosie were able to go out a lot more than when we were there with the family, and they've been able to visit a national park in the area. Between Rosie's new gear, the trips to the national park, and staying up late bear watching every night, she saw bears on more than one occasion. She's feeling much better, and they're coming home on Monday. And I think that's a lovely little update, and I do wish Rosie all the best going forward, and, you know, for your relationships as well. I can't imagine being in OP's shoes and seeing and dealing with what they're dealing with. It must be just incredibly heartbreaking. But like I said, I truly wish you and your family all the best going forward. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time, not just towards me, but towards one another as well down in the comments is absolutely amazing. Please keep being amazing as well. At the very end of the video, there'll be a couple of playlists there you can click on, and it will automatically scroll through all the videos for you. So whatever you're up to, had someone send me a little pic over on Twitter where they was in line at a metal show listening. I thought that was pretty crazy. Kate kindly sent me a picture while she was out doing a bit of foraging. And also your many pet pics that you send me absolutely makes my day. So thank you so much. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.